Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Edgerton. I felt like making a video. I'm going to put it on Facebook as soon as I get done. But what's going on is from time to time I like to purchase books on PDF, and then I like to open it up on my phone and read it on my phone. And I purchased a book a couple days ago. The name of the book and the author, that's really not important. But the person and the author of the book makes a note at the beginning of the book. I'm right at the beginning of it, but they talk about an excerpt. I guess it was from a book by Charles Darwin or a book about his life, but I take it to be true. So I'm gonna read it to you. And everyone knows Darwin was the guy that developed the evolution theory and all that. But here's what. Anyway, here goes. I'm gonna read it. It says, "It may surprise many students of evolution to learn that in the closing days of his life, Charles Darwin returned to his faith in the Bible. The following account is told by Lady Hope of Northfield, England, a wonderful Christian woman who was often at his bedside before he died. It was one of those glorious autumn afternoons that we sometimes enjoy in England when I was asked to go in and sit with Charles Darwin. I used to feel when I saw him that his fine presence would make a grand picture for our Royal Academy, but never did I think so more strongly than on this particular occasion. He was sitting up in bed, propped up by pillows, gazing out on a far-stretching scene of woods and cornfields which glowed in the light of a marvelous sunset. His features lit up with pleasure as I entered the room. He waved his hand toward the window as he pointed out the beautiful sunset scene below, or beyond. In his other hand he held an open Bible which he was always studying. 'What are you reading now?' I asked. 'Hebrews,' he answered. 'The royal book, I call it.' Then as he placed his fingers on certain passages, he commented on them. I made some allusion to the strong opinions expressed by many on the history of the creation and then their treatment of the earlier chapters of the book of Genesis. He seemed distressed. His fingers twitched nervously, and a look of agony came over his face as he said, 'I was a young man with unformed ideas. I threw out queries, suggestions, wondering all the time about everything. To my astonishment, the ideas took like wildfire. People made a religion of them.' Then he paused, and after a few more sentences on the holiness of God and the grandeur of this book, looking tenderly at the Bible, which he was holding all the time, he said, 'I have a summer house in the garden which holds about 30 people. It is over there,' pointing through the open window. 'I want you very much to speak there. I know you read the Bible in the villages. Tomorrow afternoon I should like the servants on the place, some tenants, and a few neighbors to gather there. Will you speak to them?' 'What shall I speak about?' I asked. 'Christ Jesus,' he replied in a clear, emphatic voice, adding in a lower tone, 'and his salvation.' 'Is not that the best thing? Then I want you to sing some hymns with them. You lead on your small instrument, do you not?' The look of brightness on his face as he said this I shall never forget. For he added, 'If you make the meeting at 3 o'clock, this window will be open, and you will know that I am joining in with the singing.' What a dramatic scene! Here we see the very soul of Darwin exposed to us in the last years of his life. What a different picture from the young Darwin. Speaking about the Bible, he uses the expression, 'the grandeur of this book,' revealing his love and respect for the Holy Bible. And when he is reminded of the then newly awakened evolutionary movement in theology and its accompanying higher criticism which destroyed the biblical faith of multitudes, he responds with a look of agony which clearly expresses how he deplored the mistakes of his younger years. His statement, 'I was a young man with unformed ideas,' clearly reveals that he himself no longer believed in those theories of evolution, if he indeed ever had." And that's the end of it. Anyway, I read that, and I always thought the guy was like the evolution dude from the beginning of his life to the very end, but evidently that's not the case. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting, so I just wanted to mention that. And I never really read much about Darwin. All I knew is he came up with the evolution theory, and I never really studied it that much. But I don't know where they got that out of that book. I could probably look it up and find out. But to me, I feel like it was probably true. That was like right at the end of his life. So I'm done.